What's up, everybody? It's your man, Governor Wildstar, Nicholas Wildstar, candidate for California governor, here with another episode of Black Side of Liberty. All my beings of light, art, culture, and knowledge out there, thank you for being here with me for a great conversation with a wonderful friend who I'm going to be introducing to you in just a second. But of course, first and foremost, you know what to do. Please be sure to hit that logo in the bottom right of the screen or whatever. You'll see it there. Hit that logo or you can subscribe just right there on your screen by hitting the Wildstar logo, this wonderful star that you see right here down at the bottom of the screen. Click on that if you're watching on YouTube, and you'll be able to subscribe. If you're on Facebook, be sure to connect with me. Be sure to click that like. And if you're not connected with me on Facebook, head on over to my website, wildstar2022.com. Click on any of my social media icons, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. Connect with me, and let's be sure to keep each other in the know. Speaking of keeping each other in the know, it's a lot going on in the world right now, and we definitely should be bringing each other up to speed, since it's a lot of disinformation and misinformation going on with our mainstream media, aka fake news machine right now. So with that being said, I got my man Solo, the network king, up in the house, who I'm going to be introducing to you. What's up, Solo?
What's up, Wildstar?
Liberty,
how you
bro.
doing, bro?
Hey, wonderful, man. You know me, I'm always doing my best to keep my head above water in this fight for freedom. Shit,
I hear you, man.
It's been a long time going, and hopefully we can bring it to an end. But it starts first with people, knowing who the real enemy is, knowing what's going on, knowing that they are actually in a war, because a lot of people are just oblivious to all of that, So, well, first and foremost, I do want to introduce you, or want you to introduce yourself, if you could, to the people out there. I think, if I can recall, we met, like in 2017 or something like that, through Facebook. I think I was on the anonymous tip, and then we started chatting this shit about this admiralty law, and then just kind of took it from there. But if you could, my man Solo, introduce yourself to the people out there, and let them know who you is.
It might have been a little bit before that. My name's Corey Banks. I've known Wildstar for a few years, like he said, and he's been in the activist world. I've been in the activist world. We've kind of done our own kind of individual missions, and went at the issues and problems and conundrums of the world in our own way, in our own journey, and touch base from time to time, and shared notes and information. And it was just a matter of trying to connect the dots and help people, even if we're on different parts of the spectrum or in different states, different places. I think that's important, that we do that we're able to stay in touch, and we're able to connect the dots and help each other, because we're all living this thing called life, and information is power, and it helps us get through difficult times that where we might be confused or not know what's going on, or how to approach or how to deal with certain things.
Right.
Communication is very important. I think that's a reason. There's a big reason that they want to destroy that. They want to control it. They want to dictate it. And they really don't want people communicating with each other or talking to each other.
Not at all.
It's a matter of controlling.
We talk about, you know what I'm saying? Because it exposes all of what they're doing, all of their sinister activity. And of course, it's a matter of speculation to a lot of people, which is why they want to coin it and label it as being conspiracy theory, when to us it's conspiracy facts, because we can prove these conspiracies with facts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people
Yeah.
don't want to do the research and look for that information, but we've done our due diligence, and thankfully through networking, and keeping each other in the know, we're able to build upon that knowledge. So, of course, first things first, I guess, is the obvious thing we should talk about, which is what is the deep state? It's been talked about in the mainstream media a lot because of former President Trump and talking about the swamp and all of the people that are doing everything to deceive us behind the scenes through our government body. So, of course, there are still people out there trying to understand what that even means, what it's all about. So, if you could tell me, what's your interpretation of what the deep state is to you?
The deep state to me is a conglomerate of people in power, people in political positions, people that own big corporations, have a lot of influence on the world, that conspire to basically have their own corporate agendas, and they get together and collaborate ideas and resources to be able to conspire to do things outside of what should be their scope of authority. And I think that's been going on for a very long time. That's why you have Bohemian Grove and Bilderberg Group and all that. And, like you said, that's not a conspiracy. Like, there's proof of all that.
Exactly.
Just because YouTube deletes it doesn't mean it's not true, just because they delete. I mean, the fact that they go delete all that information is just even more telling that it's guilty, and it's not information that they want to be attributed or connected to, obviously. Yeah. So the deep state, basically, just politicians, people in power, celebrities, people who have a lot of influence to control and influence people to do things. Case in point, the times right now. I would just say, in a nutshell, we've put blind faith and trust into a system we don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know these people or these old, bloodline families, and
the establishment figureheads.
We've been brainwashed, just like the rest of the world, just like the history that we've learned about. And we thought for a long time that America was exempt from that.
Mm-hmm.
We're the free country and everything.
Yeah. Well, at a certain point in time, I guess it had been considered such, seeing as that was the goal of the founders of this country, was to break away from all of that. Which was what that whole revolution in 1776 was all about. Was people fighting back, and
I'll open the door for you right now.
All right. I'm not at the front door, but
sorry about that. No, sorry about that, bro.
I got you. My man,
I just gotta go get the door real quick, but continue on what you were saying.
All right, for sure. No, I was saying pretty much it's just the oligarchy, the same people that's been pulling the strings behind the scene this entire time. Not only politicians, but the money, the people behind the scenes that are paying these politicians, paying for their political campaigns, for them to go out there and pursue a certain agenda that they want to have control. My man Jack B says Henry Kissinger is one. Definitely. We need to start naming names. That's what I'm going to ask my man Network King about, is how can we start naming names? Because there's people out there like the Rothschilds, like the Rockefellers, like the Warburgs, like the who should we say? What was that? You pointed out the Pritzkers the other day. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
that's one of the names they don't want you to know. They want us to talk about the Rockefellers and Rothschilds and all that, but
right.
Pritzkers, they don't want us to know the history of that.
Okay, so real quick for the people in California, let's do a connect the dots on Pritzker, Newsom, Pelosi, and the superpowers controlling the state. Just so they can see just the example of how that, that tree of deceit, how big it is,
I mean, the way that I can, I guess, surmise it is that this has been like a collective buildup for a long time. And powerful families get together, like the Newsoms, the Browns, the Pelosi's, and I'm sure the Pritzker family and big families like that are connected as well. But Gavin Newsom's nephew, and Gavin Newsom is the executor of the Getty Trust, the Getty estate to this day. So it kind of tells you the control of California, and how they're able to control it. Like they basically have family trusts, and the trusts are connected to each other, and that way they can, like I said, combine resources and monopolize elements and just parts of history and everything. Because I mean, how long has the Browns and Pelosi's and them been in governor position?
Right. And this Pritzker family, they're well involved in politics. One of their family members is, governor of which state?
Illinois. The current governor of Illinois. Yeah.
Current governor of Illinois. So with
J.B.
him,
Pritzker.
Right. So. And this Pritzker family also owns a shitload of Fortune 500 companies, luxury, high-end products like Louis Vuitton, and
I mean, they're probably connected, but like basically, LVLNH is the company that owns all the luxury brands of alcohol and designer gear and all that. The Pritzkers and LVLNH, who owns Hennessy and Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and Versace and all that, they own Experian as well, one of the credit bureaus. And the Pritzkers started out with the railroads back in the day. That's where trans comes from, transportation, and they also own TransUnion. So that's two of the credit bureaus. I'm sure if people looked into Equifax, it'd be very similar as well. Like the governor of Illinois is a billionaire right now.
What's crazy is when the Equifax scam happened, when I think the Equifax breach, like every damn person's credit information was exposed. Hackers. I don't know if you remember that a few years back, but hands was supposed to roll over that, man. Nothing.
Yeah, I remember.
Nothing happened. There hasn't been any serious reform or regulation or any type of policy changes that hasn't been presented by the Republicans or the Democrats, so the two-party system has definitely being benefiting from it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's sad because there's a lot of dirt going on with both sides.
Sure.
Of this political regime, this authoritarian state that we have. And there's a lot of information, like what you were talking about, that's not talked about in the mainstream media. Jack was just talking about Project Veritas. They're doing their thing, but are they talking about any of this shit? They're hinting. But you got to remember, all of these people have an agenda too, and I feel like they're more so using their agenda to control the narrative versus just fully laying it out for people and say it's not about conservative or liberal or, right or left or whatever the case may be. Like the chick that came out on Fox News, the news reporter. She came out, it was like, Fox is pretty much silencing me and preventing me from speaking the truth about certain things. And they fired her, because of it. So that should be a red flag to people. But you still going to have people out there that continue to watch Fox News and eat up every word that they say, despite her saying that, Same thing with CNN. When Project Veritas exposed them, you still got people faithfully ingesting that information, that misinformation, and then going out in the world and acting on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty convoluted, you know. I mean, media, people need to. That's one big thing is like people need to look at the media and realize that it's called media, and media is in the category of entertainment. So,
right.
I mean, stop believing the news and taking it, you know, for granted. I mean, for like literal translation. That's a big part of the brainwashing because people have been watching the news during dinner time for decades. You know, that became a family tradition, and they knew that. You know, they know how to see how many people are viewing and tuning in and all that. That's how they got the funding. And, you know, I think incrementally over time, it became more monopolized. I'm not going to say it was a swamp all the way from the very beginning, but little by little, a lot of it with us not doing our due diligence to be the overseers of the system. Like a lot of people say, we're the overseers of the government. Well, that's us. There's no government agency that's going to oversee themselves.
Right.
You know? So if we have a system and we claim that, okay, you guys are the reason, or we're the reason you guys are in power, we need to be more diligent about that.
Right. I don't think people recognize that. They don't realize that. I don't know. I still have to explain it just in, verbatim to people to say, hey, you pay these people's salaries with your taxes. They work for you. It's that simple. And you would never expect your employee to be the one telling you how they're going to do their job. When you're the employer, you know what I'm saying? You're hiring them by way of your vote. You're paying them by way of your taxation, without representation. So when do we as adults, because we're all adults, you know what I'm saying? Kids ain't voting these people in office. It's us, grown-ass people, putting other grown-ass people in charge of our lives. Why are we stuck in that repetitive cycle,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think at this point, we've been saying that for a long time, and we kind of just ran with it, that our taxes pay your salary or whatever. But at this point, like I would say that.
Well, we think that's the premise of it. We're like, that's how it's supposed.
But it's probably not even. It's probably not even true though. At this point,
exactly.
Like. Because we have no idea what they're doing with what we pay taxes for, because like you said, there's no representation to it. There's no proof of where it goes. There's no program that you can really understand. It's just like do it or else. And a big part of the problem is people have no idea about money.
Yeah.
Deep state is what you're talking about. So I would say the people who have created this money, this fractional reserve banking, debtor, creditor, fiduciary system, monetary system. And, because in school, we had like the little plastic pennies and nickels and all that and the little paper, and they're like, yeah, this is money. And they didn't teach us anything about money,
right?
Value, intrinsic value. Like,
right. They taught us about the instruments of their monetary system. I hate when people say the American dollar, because the dollar that you have in your pocket is not an American dollar. It says on their Federal Reserve note. That's who owns the money in your wallet, is the Federal Reserve. It's a private company. It's no more federal than Federal Express. And we, the people, are letting our elected officials borrow money from their asses to the tune of trillions of dollars, which is what our national deficit is representative of. is that amount of debt they've accumulated in borrowing in our name, you know? So, but we keep allowing that to happen. And like you said, they don't teach us in school about the relationship of, you know, taxation and money and how it all works. I tell people, you know, first time I ever had a job and got my first paycheck, it was eye-opening to me as a 14-year-old that a portion of my check was taken out for taxes. I'm like, why? You know, you're banking on every single damn dollar, and then all of a sudden they just scoop an amount out. And the adults tell you, well, you just got to pay your taxes. That's just the way that it is. That just didn't sit right with me. You know, that wasn't good enough. It's like, especially
Uncle Sam. Yeah, who's Uncle Sam? You know,
yeah, exactly.
I never met him.
We have a talk. I didn't agree to this, you know.
Right. Let's negotiate. Yeah, this is my labor, and yeah, I may not agree with this, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And,
but so you were talking about the dollar. Another thing that like people should do is pay more attention to detail. You know, because a lot of people would look at a dollar and they would see the "In God We Trust" on there, right? And they'd be like, "Oh, it's a God-fearing nation. Oh, you know, it's
messages.
That's what America's built off of." Okay. Like you said, it's written on there. There's names on there. There's inscriptions on the money that will give you some facts and some details.
Right.
In God We Trust has nothing to do with God on the money. That's the company.
Exactly.
That the monetary system is being run from, basically. Because if you go to the Pennsylvania Secretary of State website and look up a business,
right,
in God We. Mm-hmm. Well, the reason the last word is trust is because it's a trust.
Tell them,
the name of their trust.
Hello. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, so we talked about Newsom, the Pritzkers, the Rothschilds, and you know the deep roots of these families and how they're pretty much the ones calling the shots over everyone else. This structure where they pretty much created a society where they're elected kings and queens. You know, that's what we have here in America. We've created this like this oligarchy, and by way of our voting. So it's like a representative oligarchy, you know, instead of a representative republic. So, or representative democracy even. So when you talk about these people that's supposed to know, it was considered that Donald Trump was one of the people that knew about all of this, and he's going to do something about it since he's the one talking about the deep state. And a lot of people have faith that he still, to this day, for some reason, is going to run up on the scene and, you know, rescue we the people from the deep state. So I want to ask you, because you were out there, you know, with the MAGA people. I was too. I wasn't supportive of Trump, but you were to some degree. I want to ask you, why do people have that idea that Trump is like the chosen one and going to, for some reason, as I said, be the savior in this situation?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I think one big element is that people like to have a savior. One of my favorite quotes is kind of actually a religious quote where it says, "How come we could conceive man becoming God to save man, but can't conceive man becoming God to save himself?" We've been basically indoctrinated and inundated and brought up to always look for somebody to save us, a savior. You know, that's the story of our life, basically. Oh, this guy saved us. He died for our sins or whatever. I'm not going to get into all religion or the allegories and metaphors of the Bible or anything like that. But I think it's ingrained in people to, you know, kind of
put their faith in someone or
put their
some
faith,
other
put their faith in
people.
that. But I mean, I would also say that with all due respect to people who still use their brain, liberals are fucking idiots right now. Because at least Republicans have a little bit of logic, like just basically. I mean, look at what happened with the election and all that. I'm just saying. Try having a conversation with somebody who's on the other side, and it's not even
like a lost cause.
It's not productive at all.
Right.
Like you said, I was at Beverly Hills Park and went out there and connected and networked with people and everything. The reason I was supportive of the administration in some fashion is because I've seen some of the stuff he was doing. All the predecessors before were actors, lawyers. There were no business people, and a lot of people still are unaware that the United States is a corporation. So having somebody that is a business person step in and looking at it from a business perspective and not a political or government perspective, I think a lot of things were kind of exposed and shown in a light that the system didn't want, obviously, because you've seen the media automatically go on the defense. Celebrities, Hollywood lost their damn mind. Everybody was in panic for a long time. And I think what happened within the past year is a complete disgrace to what we say this country has been about. I mean, the fact that whether somebody likes somebody or not, but if they're in a presidential seat, I can't recall any president before where it was okay for people to say, yeah, well, let's kill him, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that would have never flew before. So it really exposed the system, the entertainers, the media.
I also had a president that never said, I could go out and shoot somebody in cold blood on the street. You know what I'm saying? And get away with it. So, all right, we're talking about the deep state. Who knows what? If Donald Trump, as a businessman, since this is like common sense knowledge to us, just as regular people, and we are businessmen in our respective industries. You do have to know what you getting into in the entertainment industry. So money is money, and you got to know the constructs of it, how it works. So as a businessman, in order for you to borrow money from the banks, you got to have a certain relationship with them, especially when you're borrowing millions, billions, trillions at like Donald Trump had. That's some high level, relationship with these banksters, these families that are pulling the strings. And if this family is also one of those privileged families that have that long-rooted relationship, then they're going to be benefiting from that, like him being able to borrow billions of dollars for businesses that have failed. And when you talk about entertainment and their, puppeteering over politics, he did have a reality series. And if it's all entertainment and they're trying to do it to create a narrative and a public conversation, they're trying to create that and control that in some way. What better way than have people hate each other? Create a figurehead where they can all either stand behind or hate, and then, side with the people based on their reaction.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I think Obama was a major counter or part in creating that.
I agree.
He definitely started stirring the pot. Because the division really started there. And then I guess Trump was kind of the white side coming in or whatever, and then people looking at
right.
But like the thing is, if you're in control of your mind and you're in control of your thoughts, I think people can get lost in the narratives a lot of times, and the narratives are never the same. They always switch up, depending on how the media wants to spin it for their gain, or for how they want to direct people's attention or whatever. But Trump wasn't perfect. Did he say some things that offended people and everything? Yeah. Did he say some things that were not offensive, but he was attacked like it was offensive? Absolutely. I've never seen a president in history that's been attacked so much, to be honest.
Yeah. But to me, all right, character aside, when it comes to him doing his job and following through on attacking the deep state, since he supposedly knows where the bodies are buried, you know who the deep state agents are, you know who the swamp monsters are, you're going to clean the swamp. Let's see you do it. So when one thing that piqued my interest when he was campaigning was he was talking about auditing the Federal Reserve and getting back on the gold standard, which to me, like you said, money, man. If this all
which he did do. He took control back over the Treasury.
He didn't put it back on the gold standard. He could have did that by executive. He didn't put us back on the gold standard, and he could by executive.
But he was in the process of doing those things. He took over the Federal Reserve.
No process. Day one, man. I said, ain't no process to it. If you're the president, you could, by executive order, do that on day one. He did not. He actually, if anything, expanded their control over our country by putting us deeper into debt by signing off on these stimulus packages and, bailouts and shit like that. That wasn't the Democrats, the socialist Democrats that did that. That was supposedly the conservative Republican who was against, the banksters and them having control over our monetary system. So he failed on that point. So I look at people like Jo Jorgensen, the libertarian candidate who was running. She said, I would, audit the Fed on day one. In the Fed is an audit of the Fed would lead to the end of that. But you could immediately, as governor, or president, like what I would do as governor is say, let's audit the franchise tax board, the IRS, the Federal Reserve System, find out where our money has been going as taxpayers. And if we end up finding out they're frauds, we're going to send their ass to jail and or worse. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that shit. It's like all the talk for nothing.
But at the same time, in fairness to him and in comparison with his predecessors, he did a lot of the things he said he was going to do.
Tom Shaw said Operation Warp Speed. Look that up. Operation Warp Speed. He was the one that, spearheaded this vaccination, this mass vaccination that we're experiencing right now. Trump started that. You wouldn't get mad at Biden and Newsom and shit if they're all taking orders from up on high, and it's all just to show, theatrics and just to throw us off from uniting to get rid of their ass. He didn't do that.
Wildstar, you know me. I don't really play the legal game, the politic game. When you can kind of see it for what it is, and like I said, use your own brain, use your own mind,
but figure things out. It is. It's politics because they're the ones doing it.
The one thing I did support is he called the media out, okay, and he took down a lot of the trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking. That's not in the news. It's not in the media. But you can go look up names and you can go look it up. Anybody can go look up the people that are in prison right now, and when he went to other countries, how many, prostitution rings and everything got taken down. A lot got done,
Okay, let's talk about that. So since he is, I guess, supposedly looked at as being someone that did help out the process of this bringing down this child trafficking ring. He didn't do anything about Epstein. He said Maxine Ghislaine or whatever was a pretty good person and shit. He talked about arresting Hillary, didn't, especially when Bill Clinton, was proven to have been on Epstein Island, as well as other,
Oh, I
elected.
mean, that's ancient. Yeah.
Why the hell didn't he arrest him, man? That's right in front of your face, and you're the commander in chief. Commander in chief, man.
How long has this been going on though?
Exactly.
No, just
today, man. I get elected governor, trust and believe. Everybody in the state of California, you better run for the fucking hills if you involved, because you're going down. You know what I'm saying? You're going down.
But how deep rooted all this is? Okay, like there was the magnifying glass on all those details, right? For a while, the Epstein thing did come out. He said in the very beginning, I can't do this by myself. That's the first thing I would say. A lot of people that criticize the president or whatever, especially in these times and in these invisible wars, I always tell people, well, okay, well, how would you do? You get into that situation, you don't know where the rats and the snakes are. He was obviously surrounded by them. People sabotaging what he wanted to do. The media is destroying him. The sheep are going to watch it all day and just believe the narratives and run with the narratives and live their lives according to that. He's almost 80 years old, that's
you ain't got nothing to lose then.
He has the opportunity to live a good life. Yeah, but
you ain't got man.
You can't say that he didn't. What he did do was he put that and he brought that into the light. Okay, and it did wake up a lot of people. So I don't see how that was a part of the agenda, to be honest, because name a president before that brought that out in the open.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you how this would play into the agenda. To me, from my perspective, is it creates that divide, that cultural, spiritual, economical, every type of divide, the divide and conquer game that they've been playing this entire time. He played an integral role in that. Like you said, Barack Obama played the black version. This is the white version. You know what I'm saying? And when Obama became president, we saw that divide happen. And then, Bush and all of them. It was just furthering dividing the people of the United States, instead of us coming together and unifying behind a common cause, which is getting rid of these deep state agents that have taken control over our democratic government, because we're supposed to be in control. Like we started out, and we have this idea that we pay our taxes, that pays their salary, they're working for us. We know damn well they don't. They're working for the corporations, but we just eat it, Why we got doing that,
See, that's the thing is that's their game,
right? That's
their game. They've been playing for a long time. We have a free will choice whether we feed into that, whether we engage in that, whether we even put energy to it. There's a reason that they keep doing what they're doing. There's a reason they keep putting it on the media, on the news and everything, because they want us to play into it. Right. They need our energy to give that life.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Speaking of playing into it, another part that I feel like we're playing into when it comes to divisiveness is if racism exists or not. Because another conversation, I guess, that's being driven right now by the mainstream media and the powers that be is it's creating a conversation where you have people that believe that racism in this country doesn't exist and they're ignoring it as a possibility. And then you have people that are fighting to, I guess, teach a certain generation of what their idea of what racism is. So you now have this clash happening with race relations and just the idea in itself about racism. So I want to ask you, Um, is racism real in America, in the United States of America, or is it? And if so, how?
Well, we've been brought up, to be brainwashed and inundated to identity politics and all that, and all the classifications that go with it. The fact that people fill out government forms and it says race on it, I would say that is automatically programming people to be racist and judge people based on those classifications. So right. Do I think there's people in the world who judge people based on race and what we've been brought up to believe is race? Absolutely. Do I think it's a singular issue? No. I think it's rampant all over. I don't think that people who judge people or see people because they are a certain race do it everybody does it with nefarious intentions. It's the fact that people feel that they're, being judged based on those details or that brainwashing that affects people, I believe. And then, people can get vulgar with it and people can continue the division and the animosity that we've been programmed to have. Right. Like all the way back in school. Remember when they had like us sitting next to each other in school and everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, see, these guys did this to you guys," and we get like one version of oppression, in history. That was all designed to be divisive. Right. It was all designed for people to look at the world a certain way, and it was designed because if they can get us to live according to division, they can control us easier, and we'll play their little corporate game of growing up to be trained to be factory workers.
Right.
And we all went through that. I got called the white devil by I'm not gonna say the name, but LA Zoo, the group. Like I booked shows for them at one point.
Okay.
And politically, I guess me being a white guy, I guess that's kind of racism, because I got the different opinion or don't just go fully in line with what the narrative is or what the popular opinion is. Never been that way. I tried many things to try to combat like Black Lives Matter and things like that. I tried one approach saying birds and insects and reptiles and fish lives matter. All lives matter. That's what all lives matter means. It's not taking anything away from anybody else's consideration that their life matters.
Right.
It's saying that humans aren't the only ones here. There's all life forms here. Tried that. That didn't work. So I got called racist for that because I said fish lives matter and animals and all that we all share an ecosystem with. The other one that I really got attacked for was saying the term Black Lives Matter is racist in itself. Because anytime you deem or judge something based on something, it's that ist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The fact that the whole basis is based off of race, it's racist.
Yeah.
And they knew what they were doing with that.
For sure.
It wasn't. And then the people that were spearheading Black Lives Matter, they didn't care about it. I mean, look, they went and bought mansions.
Right.
Because they knew how to register the business and trademark the saying, and like they knew how to capitalize off that. Right. It wasn't
all these people that have made it a product, and that was what I kind of saw as being the biggest threat of the organization when I first got introduced to it back in like 2016 after Mike Brown was killed. I had already had my own experiences of police abuse before then. And, of course, understood the call to demand that we need to have some real police reform in our criminal justice system. You know what I'm saying? It is targeting a specific group of people. You know it and I know it. whether it be based on the color of their skin or how much money that they may have or whatever the case it may be. There's a lot of prejudice that happens through our legal system, and it's designed that way so it can continue to stay in operation and have a point to be in existence. So I already knew this. I actually went out to one of their committee meetings, and I brought this up about the name being conflicting, like he said, how it could be alienating to people that may want to jump on board as far as being an alias or an ally, in a room that was predominantly full of white people, and the two community organizers are black people. So I asked this as a black man, and all of a sudden I'm getting called an agent provocateur and asked,
right.
Yeah, and it was an attack on me and my family that was there at the time. I was told that I was one of those black guys that, date white girls and shit. I'm like, actually, I'm married to a black woman who's right there, So there was a lot of assumptions about me then. But like I said, understood the call to action, which is criminal justice reform. So I would say the problem to the people that do say, all lives matter or all frogs matter or whatever the case may be, is misdirecting that message, which again is towards criminal justice reform, and kind of just downplaying it to say, well, all lives matter. Okay, in that case, then let's do something about Trevor Seaver. Let's do something about Duncan Lemp. Let's do something about all of the people that have died at the hands of police officers that weren't just black people.
Right.
So if that be the case, then yeah, let's unify behind that and get rid of this police state that threatens us all and costs us a lot of money. Yeah, as well. Shit.
Was it Kelly Thomas, the homeless dude who got beat by the police? Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, I was living out there at the time, and all of the white people that showed up at protests and rallied and cried for justice. And then what happened? The family got a payout, and nothing happened. Same thing. Stephon Clark, thankfully his family is still out there fighting the good fight to try to make some changes. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people give up because they feel like the system is rigged. It's a waste of time. They get burnt out. Man, we've been around fighting this shit since what, 2011? I don't even know how long we've known each other. Feel like, but man, just to say that, you get a lot of people that are involved in this, and they're just at some point they're like, man, I give up. Shit. We see it happen with a lot of Occupy protesters.
I think that's an important point to mention, is that the legal system has nothing to do with truth and justice. So, like you said, there can be like prejudicial elements. It's because it's their own game.
Right.
So, there is no organic constitutional element to that, like we've been taught. Like a lot of people don't know that the United States Constitution is a corporate charter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the organic constitution of rights, and freedoms, and liberties, and all that. That's in every state. But you have to get certified copies from the state of that, basically. And it's how you operate as well. Like I said, they brainwashed us and inundated us to act as strawmen in their system.
Yeah. And that's another thing, man. You talk about being strawmen and sovereignty. Sovereignty now is a bad word. You talk about owning yourself, and people are like, are you crazy? You can't just do what you want to do. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and hurt people just because I own myself. I'm going to go out there and live a good life and, be a productive member of society. And I just don't want to do that in an adulterated way. But the people that support statism and feel like we need to have some control over our lives by a governmental body is supportive of that environment that, again, threatens us all. It's put us in this existence where we have become prejudiced against each other based on the color of our skin because of the constructs that exist, whether it be in education or finance or entertainment or whatever the case may be. You know, it's created this domino effect. So we can stop it, but first we got to recognize it being, an issue altogether. So I guess that's the first part of it. The first.
Well, we have to know what it is first. Like you said, that people have a problem with the word sovereign. Well, there's people that still watch The Matrix and swear it's a movie. Keanu Reeves said it was a documentary.
Yeah.
Of life, and it's a big part of why what's going on right now. They're a little reset because they fear all the awakening that was going on.
Right.
And there's a big element, not to get back to Trump or whatever, but like you said, us doing what we've been doing for a long time, there's a limit to us putting our energy and our knowledge into certain people as well. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, it's just when you're talking to a brick wall, or when you're talking to people that are just going to attack you, like it's not worth it. So these days, we have to really pick and choose who we talk to. If there's going to be value there, if people are going to pay it forward and help the next person. Because we're literally, we could be easily made into domestic terrorists based on the information that we know, based on the way that they're able to control the narratives and control the people believing the narratives.
Right.
And, it's the biggest crabs in a bucket situation or time in history that I can recall. The whole mask thing, like, I've been in plenty of stores. Like, if I choose not to wear a mask, I'm not wearing it. I'm not doing it. And I walk into the battlefield of zombies or whatever and have a conversation.
And that's the modern day segregation that we're living in, and we're creating that environment, and we're embracing it. Like you said, a lot of people, they're just not coming together in mass to rise up against the forces, the powers that be, the establishment, to say enough is enough already. You guys have done enough damage, and we're going to take back our power of control. So that actually leads me to what I want to ask you next, which is as figuring out who the real enemy is here. If it's not Donald Trump, if it's not Gavin Newsom, I guess he's an enemy to me. But if it's not any person in particular per se, then who is the real enemy here that we should be focusing on as a collective?
I would say that there's kind of an ambiguous answer to that. Etymology plays a big part in understanding a lot of this stuff. Government, that means govern, control. Ment comes from Latin, mentis, mind, mental. So mind control is what government translates to. So people in power who are in the business of mind control, I would say those are enemies. Those are adversaries for sure. I would say that's damn near like the whole political spectrum and media in Hollywood at this point. Like I said, I don't think it started out that way, but it is now. But I could give you a surprising answer of who the real enemy is. I would say us. We are our own enemies as well. Because we choose to keep playing this game. We choose to keep thinking these things. We choose to maintain these beliefs and this way of thinking, and we choose not to reach out and gather more information, because I can attest, and you can attest, like when you go feed your mind and you go put yourself in the same scenario or the same situation that you got into before that might not have worked favorably for you, you get different results when you come in with different information, right?
Right, absolutely.
So I would say humans' inability or refusal to evolve and create and believe in themselves, is a big enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows an element like big government and big tech to siphon that energy to their agendas.
Well, yeah, like you said, the biggest enemy is the man in the mirror, because you're ultimately the one to blame. And that's what I was saying about us being adults and acting as adults, because we're reliant upon other adults, or being reliant upon other adults to be responsible for us instead of us being responsible for ourselves. So when it comes to their inability to govern, or their inability to spend our money or do whatever it is that we gave them authority to do, then we're to blame for that. We're not taking back that authority. We can't blame the cops. As much as you want to, Black Lives Matter wants to blame the cops. You're the one who created that system. You're the one who supported of it. So I have to break down that in some way for the people that say, defunding the police doesn't make any sense. It's like, it makes ultimate sense. It makes perfect sense because you're paying for it, and if you don't like the services that you're getting, that you're paying for, why the hell would you keep paying for it? It's just like, paying for badass cell phone service or, power. And here in the state of California, we get faulty ass, unreliable electricity and, utilities from PG&E and SoCal Edison or whatever. And yet we still let our money get paid to these corporations, these monopolies, the people that are fucking up. We need to stop it. So you're absolutely right. The first person who is to blame, who is the real enemy, is you yourself. Especially if you're the enabler. I think a lot of people don't see themselves as being enablers to it because they're too busy having this victim mentality, and transferring that blame onto somebody else, is projecting. If I can blame you for everything that's happening to me, I don't have to take responsibility,
Right. Yeah, it's a crutch. It's an ancient crutch that people have been using for a long time. But I think a lot of those things are being exposed, and that's why there's a hurry up agenda, like we were talking about. Because they didn't feel like they had enough time, or they were running out of time to really implement their agenda. Mm-hmm. And right now they're taking advantage of the massive ignorance still, and now we're engaged in full blown genocide, and we're still being mind controlled by the TV, talking about racial equality and everything.
Man.
World's being genocided right now.
Race theory, man. We got bigger shit going on. I'm like, this vaccine verification system that Newsom is talking about implementing, he just slid that in under people, it just slipped in under their noses. And they're being caught off guard, like, oh, no, that's wrong. It's like, okay, it's wrong. What are you going to do about it? Stop the bitching and complaining. We did a great thing in, collecting the signatures to make sure that he's going to be recalled. And, that's a way for us to, a first step in holding him accountable. But the next step is getting his ass out of office. And right now, you have a lot of people that are like still seeing this recall deal as being just a bipartisan or a partisan type of thing. The Republicans are pushing for it. The Trumpsters are pushing for it. The white supremacists. I'm like, I don't fit in none of those categories. So,
Of course, yeah.
I don't get what's going on, man, because
Well, they're gonna try to spin it and flip it, and justify it however they can to distract, change the narrative, build up
Mhm.
funds. I mean, it's just they're experts at spin.
Right.
That's like they all have lawyer mentalities, but at the end of the day, the only reason it works is because they're able to get our attention. They're able to get people's attention.
Right.
They're able to get people's energy. If they were just playing their own little clown games off to the side, and we actually were sovereign, and we were operating in trust, and we knew how to protect our assets, and we knew how to look out for the traps of the system, and we knew how to navigate. We knew how to conduct ourselves and everything. They wouldn't have all the power they have. They would look like the clowns that they really are. I mean, if we got in a room with them and interrogated them, and there was no way for them to control the questions or anything, do you think they'd be very comfortable?
No, not at all. Especially people like Zuckerberg, my man. Jack B says Facebook don't even work. You got the powers that be, other people controlling, the media platforms to prevent us from being able to share information with each other, and censoring that information and banning us even. I'm like, man, we've been banned. They want to complain about it now. We've already experienced that shit. It's like, when do we focus on investing into creating our own networks, our own, utilities, our own everything, so we won't have to be reliant upon the powers that be? We're giving them all of our energy. We're giving them all of our money. We're giving them all of our being, and not getting anything in return. And you have a lot of people that say, what is it? No progress is better than, or slow progress is better than no progress. But we need to be at the point where it's like, shit, it's all or nothing. We're not going to accept anything less than what we demand, or that's it for you, period.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it has to be. There has to be a big amount of numbers doing that, because I mean, if you look at history, they'll execute you if you go off and do that yourself. You look at the Montana Freemen,
right?
You look at what was it, Waco? The communion, the communes of families, women, children, men that they burned alive. You just look at this system and the people that have stood up in the past, and how they were spun in the news that they were terrorists and they were anti-government, and, all that. It just tells you even more confirmation that this is a fake system.
Right.
And these are just people that are pulling the strings, and they are criminals. They are guilty of treason and sedition. Like they try to say sedition happened January 6th. Don't even get me started on that. But I can't believe that they still, like, I turned on CNN earlier today, and they got like a special of the insurrection at the Capitol. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, they're still playing on that sensationalized, story, just so they can pit us.
But you know what that
more and more,
But you know what that is though? Like, that's people that weren't there. Like the people that weren't there is that's whose attention they're grabbing to give that energy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
When the protests were going on for days, and the lockdowns and curfews and everything, I was downtown like 4 of those days. Like we were downtown, and then when they said, "Oh, curfew," that's when we started marching.
Mm-hmm. That's
what we ain't going home.
Right. Exactly.
And a lot of people that stayed home. Like I had like so-called activist friends call me a Marxist, and like, why are you out there with them people? I'm like, hey, look, bro, I've been doing this longer than you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't tell me like what
I know, right?
First of all, I'm not in any of your like activist entourage groups or anything like that. You know,
Right.
so I'm not subject to those politics. If you want to see things a certain way, then see it a certain way. We've been in the trenches and on the battlefield.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. Thank you for saying that, man, because I get that same kind of pushback by people saying, why are you out there with Black Lives Matter? I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the organization or anything that they about, or why are you out there with the Reopen protesters? You know, they're MAGA folks. Yeah. I'm like, look at what they're fighting for. Look at what they're fighting for, both sides. You know, why would you not want to be out there fighting for those causes and shit?
Right. And it was... Right, and it wasn't just white or black; it was both. Right. That's what they didn't want people to see.
Exactly.
You know, there was no division.
Right. Yeah.
That's why they had to have Antifa paid people pull up. Like when we start marching. Okay, this to give you an example.
The real agent provocateurs. You know.
Yeah, the ones being paid. You know, like we were marching.
Paid.
We were marching downtown, like hundreds of us. And then there's like was cars and everything too, but one dude jumps out of a car and throws a M150 into the crowd. You know,
oh damn,
that's the agent provocateur,
right?
The paid person. And I can tell you, every single time that went on, people went at him. Like get out of here. You know, like we basically like kicked them off. You know, the block. You know, like get away. You're not in the protest. If that's what you're trying to do, you know, don't do it again. Whatever. You know, but we've seen those elements, but the majority was peaceful people. Majority were people that had a voice, had something to say, had something to stand up for. And, you know, that's what the media...
Really understand the counter protesters that were out there on both sides, because it's like you're playing into the constructed and manufactured public opinion by the fake news. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go and listen to each other. And every time that I was out there, that's what I attempted to do, was just kind of create a dialogue to just say, can we talk about our differences? And man, that was the hardest fucking thing. The people are so damn brainwashed. It's like they don't even want to hear the peacekeeper anymore. You know, they only want to hear the fighting words, you know, the trigger words, and get them upset. And I'm not trying to be there for that shit, man. That's where you lose me on both sides. So
even activists, you know, like you're right. You know, like I've been a GMO. I went to the GMO protest in Philly, you know, a few years back. You know, I connected with people that were like anti-GMO and stuff like that. They did music, but you know, it's like that's cool. You know, but like, do you really think you're making a huge impact?
Right.
Like, I'm like, me and my buddy are
take action.
Me and my buddy are going up against the banks. You know, the police departments, the pipeline. Like, you know, we're in the courthouses.
Right.
We're talking to people. Like, that's where.
They see that as being a waste of time, and it's like, oh no, that's where we really need to be taking our fight there, right there.
Yeah. So and they won't do that. You know, it's like I don't have a problem with the courts, or I don't have a problem with government. You know, all I care about is this, or like It's like, well,
you gotta realize, and it's all connected, man.
I don't get it, because that's what I always said, and I was like, well, look, if you care about this, how could you not care about this?
Right. I think that's where the OG activists kind of like got the leg up on the newer ones, is because we understand how it's all interconnected versus they're still seeing it as being like, you know, one thing or another or whatever the case. So I do my best to kind of educate the newbies getting involved in this as to what's really going on. So I thank you for actually being a part of that and having this conversation with me now. You know, it's going to go in that time capsule for others to pick off of when they need it. But one of the things that we definitely want to do also is provide solutions to people, let people know what we can do to, to win this war against humanity that's been going on against this entire time. Because that's what it really is. It's a war against the human race, us coming together and doing something never seen before, which is live harmoniously on this planet. So there's somebody, some entity, something against that. How do we, as a unified, being on this planet, come together, fight, and finally win this battle? Win the war. It's like, we have separate battles that we're all, fighting out on whatever grounds, but how do we ultimately win the war in this case?
I would say vibrate high, be the change that you see, be the example. Try to keep connecting with like-minded people. I think each individual, that they need to see a obligation and responsibility to re-educate themselves and realize that they've been completely miseducated. It's not hard to show that to yourself. And if you look, everything's hidden in plain sight, pretty much. Like I think Jack was saying that earlier. It's just take a closer look at things, and then look at the fact that you got options, and look at what those options are. Help other people. It's kind of the 100th monkey effect. Are you familiar with that theory?
Absolutely, yeah.
Once people start seeing things work for other people, it'll be a chain reaction, and
I think it's happening, man. That's why they're speeding up their agenda, to try to oppress us as quickly as possible. Is because we are starting to wake up on a fast scale, at a rapid rate, and they want to slow that down however they can. I mean, you had Agenda 21, and now we got the Agenda 2030 or some shit like that. So they're already planning to control and create this sustainable society based on their standards. It's a matter of us being aware of it, like you said, educating ourselves, educating each other, taking all of what we've learned and putting it to action. Don't just make TikTok videos talking about the shit, or YouTube, or whatever the case may be. We actually got to start following through on what we know. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of dig about what I've been doing with my battles against the legal system, is I followed through on that information that I learned and what we're talking about, and our individual sovereignty and the kangaroo court system. And, we know it. We know it's a lie. We need to start acting on it. We got to start being brave enough to do so. And maybe we do need to start being examples of it. We don't want to be martyrs in the process. And that's where we need to get the numbers behind us to make that revolution happen in a peaceful manner. It can happen. It doesn't have to be a bloody revolution. It could be a peaceful revolution. Frederick Douglass, one of his famous quotes is, a revolution, a man's revolution happens through three boxes. You got the ballot box, you got the jury box, and then you got the ammo box. So if we want to try to put the first two to use, we have to exhaust that to all avail. And then if not, then we'll have to explore the last one. And I think right now we're having that societal kind of evolution happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to, I don't know if you got things to do. I don't want to hold you up too long, but I want to give you the last word on, everything that we've been talking about here.
No, I'm fully in agreement, man. Like I said, it comes down to people just being honest with themselves and realizing that they've been indoctrinated, to, and everybody has, even we have, you
Yeah.
know. It's not the easiest thing for us to reprogram our minds, but it's our experiences and the fact that we chose to um, look behind the curtain, and we chose to go on a venture of activism and helping people and uh, seeing it for ourselves, the bigger picture of what's really going on.
Right.
And we've been able to also obtain tools that have helped us, through a lot of scenarios, like with the courts and the legal system, and just figuring out the game that we're playing, that we were never given the rules to. And like I said, trying to reach out and help other people see that as well, so that they can do that in their lives, and they can pass it on to other people in their lives, and they can help them and each other. um, I mean, the things that we deal with offers in the mail, offers the contract in the mail, bills and all that stuff. So like, there's a lot of ambiguity to all that. And
Yeah.
that's why there's books that's like thousands of pages and everything, because it's not cutting, none of that's cut and dried, and the people who created the system and control the system, they know how to use those cheat codes to their benefit.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of which, let me piggyback and ask you this quick question before I let you go. All right, you don't have much faith in politics, like most people. I don't much myself, but I'm doing my best, like I said, to kind of go at it head first and deal with the issue at the root of the cause. So I'm diving into this, but for those people out there that are like yourself, they feel like politics isn't the answer. Do you think that in some way that it is, and if that plays a role in how we can win this war is to get politically involved or active?
um, I mean, it's important to have a system. It's important to have an organization of, people, and an agreement of how to live in an equilibrium society. Um, but I think it's important to also realize and recognize that we don't have a system for the people, and we haven't had one our whole lives. Um, that we have a de facto system, not a de jure one, and all the seats of representatives for the people are empty right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, yeah, I mean, of course, it would be taking back that element, because there's a corporations that are masquerading as government and not representing us. Obviously, they're building their own empire,
Right.
and they have big egos over what they've been able to do, obviously.
Right.
And that's created an element in this world, not just country, that is a monster to deal with, obviously. Where we're at right now, it's finally coming to fruition, where they're straight out attacking us, and got us to the point where most people don't even realize that that's what's going on, or that we're at war.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, organization, and a system plays a part, but it's, like I said, it's also important to be realistic, because I commend you for doing what you're doing and getting out there and having the conversations that you're having with people and all that. But you also know that how rigged it is. And
Oh yeah, I know what I'm up against. That's
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to use what they think they have against them. They think they have the people, and I'm trying to let people know, if we rally together in numbers, if we galvanize, if we, get organized, then we can do this. We can take over their system, but we have to do it in numbers. So if we can do that, what's up? What's up, Yeshua in the house? If we can do that through a political election, through some type of government control, some type of shift through that governmental system, and why not? Why not exhaust that opportunity? You got Trump supporters right now. That's what they're attempting to do by getting involved with the Republican Party and, take it over from the ground up. And it's like they're doing it because they're acting on that. I think the people that are doubtful of it, the reason why it's not happening is because they're not acting on that sentiment. They're not acting on that belief that it can happen, and how to disrupt it in some way. But if we did, like if I said in the last election, if all the people that hate government that's actually, out there, whether it be in the state or across the country, if they registered to vote and voted against the two-party candidates, just pick one, pick a Green Party candidate, pick a Libertarian, pick an Independent, just pick somebody else than the two-party system duopoly that is controlling our government right now. And I kid you not, we would have a shift in power overnight. It's that simple. We just have to do it, So hopefully people will start to believe in that in some way, shape, or form. Give me an opportunity as the next governor, of California, especially in this recall election. It's a plurality. I don't have to win with the majority. I don't need over 50%. I just need to have more than the other guys that I'm running against. And if it's 60, 70, 100 candidates, that's going to make it a lot easier. It's just a matter of, again, getting the numbers behind a person such as myself that's really going to represent the people, So I'm doing my best to wake people up to it, man. Like I said, I appreciate you being here to chop it up with me, to help lift the veil off of their eyes, and calcify their pineal glands a little bit, and wake them up. So I do appreciate you again, Solo the Network King, right here on the Black Side of Liberty, talking with me. Man, you definitely got to come back again. We got to chop it up again soon.
I appreciate you too, bro. Appreciate the invite. We got information for days. So
yeah, for sure. I know, right? We got to do like a follow-up to this and then so. So let's plan on it, all right?
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, brother, man. Peace and blessings to you. All right, you guys, that again is my man Solo, the Network King. You can connect with him right here down at the bottom of the screen on Instagram and Facebook. Just connect with them right there at the bottom of the screen. Keep in touch with them. If you have any more questions, definitely reach out to him. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those questions for you, but like most people in this game, you got to start taking this information, what you're receiving, seriously. And a lot of people doubt it. A lot of people refuse to take it as truth, because it isn't being provided to them by the establishment. Why would the establishment ever give you the keys to freedom? They like keeping you in chains. They like keeping you enslaved. They like keeping you as a subordinate and a subject to their authority. So if you want to free yourself, if you want to live like a sovereign being, as God put you on this planet to be, to live as your own ruler, your own boss of you, not anybody else, not me. I'm not trying to be the boss of you as governor of California. I'm trying to be the boss of state people, the state officials, public officials that work for you. That's what the governor should be doing, but he's not. Too busy trying to be the boss of you, and all of our government is. So we want to topple our kings and queens that are out there trying to take dominion over you. And again, my man Solo would be happy to help unravel that in any way, shape, or form. So yes, Tom Shaw, thanks to Network King. Please connect with them right there again, like I said, at the bottom of the screen. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the chat with them. And we'll be coming back. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I'm going to be dropping these sporadically. So who knows when the next one is going to be. Speaking of which, be sure to connect with me right there at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe, or like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that logo right there in the corner of your screen so you can subscribe and connect with me and receive notifications in the future as to when I have more chats. I got wonderful things lined up, trust me, people. So you want to be sure to stay in the loop, and all you got to do is stay connected with me. And don't cost a dime, you know? Shit. All it takes is a little bit of your time to invest into your well-being, your future, you know, and your freedom. So take the time out to invest into that just by paying attention to what's going on, okay? And if you want to help with the cause, all you got to do is head on over to taxationistheft.info. Right there, as you guys can see it at the bottom of your screen, taxationistheft.info. Head on over. You can make a contribution by purchasing any of these wonderful Taxation is Theft products created by my man Dan Taxation is Theft Berman, who is a candidate running for governor of Texas. So if you want to help him and his campaign for governor of Texas, as well as my campaign for California governor, head on over to taxationistheft.info. Use my code GoWild2022 and you'll get a discount on any and all of the products that you see there. Yeah, we don't want to get banned together. If you put up some Taxation is Theft, you know, pics up on your social media, you may get banned depending on what you, you know, connect that messaging to. But we definitely don't want that. We want to keep getting the message out there to as many people as possible. You can help do that by buying some swag from taxationistheft.info, okay? And for all of you hemp smokers out there, if you want to help contribute to the cause, as well as attack the war on drugs, as well as contribute to candidates like Dan Taxation is Theft Berman and Nicholas Wildstar, then head on over to nugofknowledge.com. And if you aren't a hemp smoker, then try some out. I mean, it's legal and it's not anything that's going to kill you. So try out some hemp products. They are medically beneficial. So if you want to make sure that you're treating yourself, keeping yourself healthy, they even discovered that CBD actually treats coronavirus. You can Google it, look it up. They don't want to tell you this information, but head on over to nugofknowledge.com. Use my code WILDSTAR to get a discount, okay? And yeah, your contribution will be going towards helping me in my campaign, Berman in his campaign for governor of Texas, as well as research into how we can help the combat against anti-drug laws across the country. You can find out more by heading on over to the website nugofknowledge.com, right there for you at the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna get all these marbles out of my mouth one of these times, y'all. All right. And also, if you want to continue to help me in my fight for freedom and against this unjustified criminal system, legal system, whatever you want to call it, de facto system that we have, like my man Solo said, help me in the fight for we the people of California. Head on over to gofundme.com/freewildstar. You can find out about my effort to fight against the charges of me recording in court. I was found guilty of contempt of court for simply recording my own court cases. So I want to fight those charges, because doing so would make sure that all of the people of California are able to make sure that they are holding their elected officials accountable and are able to record them, whether it be in a courtroom or a police officer or city hall or whatever the case may be. So if you want to make sure that the law in California protects the people of California, you can help me beat my charges, since I am appealing them right now. And if I can win, then that will stand as case law for all of the people of California. Head on over to gofundme.com/freewildstar to find out more about how you can get involved and make a contribution to that effort today. Because I am going to fight it I'm looking for legal representation. And if I can get, a nice attorney on board to help, then we'll take it to the Superior Court if I don't win my appeal, or the Supreme Court of the United States if need be. But that's going to take a lot of money, and I'm not going to be able to do it alone. Like Solo said, one man can't do it on his own. I need your help. I'm funded 100% by we the people, and that's you. So please make a contribution today, okay? Head on over also to recallgavin2020.com to help spread the word about the recall of Gavin Newsom. We have collected enough signatures to make that happen. We're waiting on a lieutenant governor to say any day now as to when that special election will be, so we can remove gruesome Newsom away from office and elect Wildstar for governor. So you can help in that effort by helping spread the word about why we should be getting Gavin Newsom out of office, because a lot of people are still listening to the fake news, trying to figure out, what did he do so bad that he should be removed from office. Head on over to this website and find out exactly why, okay? Recallgavin2020.com and help get people in the know. And of course, head on over to my website, wildstar2022.com. Find out how you can join Team Wildstar to help me replace gruesome Newsom. And if you want to join Team Wildstar, help me do some fundraising, go door to door, join my social media team, help me spread the word and get more name recognition, since that's really what's going to win this election. Fill out one of these pledge cards on my website, wildstar2022.com, and join Team Wildstar today. You can also, of course, donate by clicking the donate button here, which will take you to this wonderful secure portal where you can make a contribution, collects all of the information that I need to be FPPC compliant and all that good shit. So make a contribution today. Like I said, I'm 100% funded by we the people. Not any of these corporations, not any, these unions, police union, teachers union, labor union, none of the unions, okay? Not Big Pharma. Nobody is backing me other than you. So know that we the people, are the ones that are going to be able to make sure that you have a candidate in office representing you. All right. Yeah, that guy tour, I don't know. He's a plant. Straight up, the media very. But yes, head on over to my website, wildstar2022.com. Find out more about me and what I want to do as the next governor of California, and to govern our state officials and not the people of California, provide more relief for you. But that's only going to happen if I'm able to compete with these guys. And I need to right now collect $5,000. That's my fundraising goal, $5,000 to make sure that I am on the ballot. Okay, that's just making sure that I'm secured my spot and are able to cover my filing fees. So if you want to help me reach that goal, head on over to my website, wildstar2022.com. Every little bit helps in helping me reach that $5,000 goal that I'm trying to reach, okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I've done talked long enough. And with the short attention span that some of you have, I'm pretty sure I've lost you by now. Hopefully you got through this in parts at some point and enjoyed the show every step of the way. I will be coming back with more Black Side of Liberty episodes soon. So like I said, be sure to subscribe, okay, and connect with me on social media right there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, on my website, The Real Q Ball on Twitter, all right? But I am going to be coming back tomorrow with a community Q&A, some more wonderful people that would like to talk about what's going on, their concerns with our state government, experiences that they've been through, and fighting for different causes. And of course, what I would be able to do as the potential next governor of California to help provide some solution to that. So come on back to the community Q&A tomorrow, 6/17 Thursday at 2 p.m. All right. Yeah, no problem. Yeshuan, my man, he says, sorry he was late. No problem, no problem. Thank you for being here and now. And yes, Juneteenth is a federal holiday. That's pretty cool. You know, I would definitely make sure it would have been a state holiday. It's too little too late, you know, but I guess it's something for us to be celebrating. You would think that, you know, getting rid of slavery in this country would have been something that we would have been celebrating as a holiday a long time ago. But you still have people that are kicking and screaming about that now. But hey, here we are, and hopefully more people will grow because of that, you know, mentally, spiritually, physically. Tom Shaw, donate now. Yes, donate now. Wildstar2022.com. And like I said, come back tomorrow where we will be talking with more wonderful people from the community, we the people, about what we should be doing as to get rid of Big Brother and all of what they're doing to fuck things up. So I'm gonna get out of here, you guys. Till next time, long live liberty. Don't forget to spread the word. Sharing is caring. All right. Peace.